Your
This is like
heart harbors wrath. You yearn to destroy everything. You bore the gaze of an eon and lived.
Is
You
anyway
have stepped onto destruction's path.
oh, like that's not
It is
Wayfire.
born at the end of every path that the possibility of new paths being born is ended. It burns away all in the cosmos who rule, that the rules of the cosmos be destroyed. Iron Tomb is your name. The Lord Ravager to destroy the erudition. Born in the experimental grounds of eons, Amphorius, destined with erudition to burn to cinders. I have prepared a present for you, Nikos 864. It is a wrath called Finan.
It's
From
says
the
under
beginning
different
of the
numbers in the voiceover.
experiment, there were 12 sets of factors incorporated into the calculations. After endless simulations, only this one rose above the rest. After 33,550,336 iterations, now his fury has grown to be without equal. This is a matter of considerable interest to me. This pure hatred is the final root of the equation. But there is another variable, the nameless from beyond the sky. Also a pathstrider of destruction. I give thanks for his arrival, allowing Amphorius to turn once more. But after fate has begun to turn, his existence will only become an unpredictable variable. Perhaps the time to take the stage has come. Grow in peace until it is time to break free from your cocoon. As for those unwelcome audience members, you need not worry. If you do not mind, I will personally get rid of them for you.
I'm guessing he's speaking of Kurum and Herder. And even the other express. Okay, what I actually wanted to say, like these anime sequences now give me like as much hype as they did for like Honkai Impact 3rd, with like the Herschel Awakening stuff and everything. Because I really love these scenes, but this one's also like finally getting to up to it. Because they did it for the ones before didn't quite match up to me, to be honest. But now they do. Okay, visitor verification redacted, I'm guessing. Override protocol engaged, access approval. Okay, what is he trying to override? How to load data? Are we waiting for you in the... Ooh. Okay, welcome back to home. Reviewing experimental data. Update complete. I forgot what that creek symbol was called. Something reverting experimental progress. 99%. It's no, it's not Omega. Is it Delta? No. One of them, I guess. Log updated. Loading content Nikos. From this 96 content refreshed. Wait, electrical sequence active. Routing, logging of the 12 factors, which is a too steep learning process. Are they like the factors? And the one they're like loading into the buffer. Okay. Niggers, track world barrel. Imo mobile hatred. No, the introcognition is null, responds only to destructive stimuli. Its hatred drew the gaze of a nuke upon its individual being, proving it as having already become the most perfect factor of destruction. But it refused to complete the Iron Nova. Through resetting the experiment, it transferred its memories and core flame to its next self, thus forging the eternal recurrence to ensure Iron Tomb would never hedge from Euphorius and affect the cosmos. At the end of the 33,550,336 and 336 to that loop, it attempted to destroy itself through destruction to create a logical vulnerability in the world-bearing path. It has now been merged by Iron Tomb. That doesn't sound so good actually, but okay. Philia. Time. Primal Mobile. Redacted. Current location unknown. She's with us, but okay. Orexia. Track Trickery, Primal Mobile Desire. Ah, this is Cyphera. Note, operates based on primal instinct with self-gratification as the sole priority solution. This electric signal, when in action, displayed severe dissonance between its altruistic behavior and its primal mobile, even culminating in self-destruction. As a simulated path of elation, it walked into self-erasure once reaching its end. Oh, she's a simulation of the elation. So each of the eons is a simulation of another path. Not the eons of the Titans. Interesting. Epaikaya. Track Death, Primal Mobile Peace. Is this... yeah, Death Titan. This is Casterus. Note, highly suppressed deviant behavior. Highly suppresses deviant behavior. Decisions are based on the principle of minimal disturbance. In the later stages of Federation, a Death Titan, as a single entity, split into symmetrical cells, becoming two factors. In this saga, however, the two factors experience profound identity divergence. The threshold of equilibrium was breached and tipped toward destruction. Okay. Schema. Track Reason. Primal Mobile Critique. This sounds like an Exa. Note, its logic of actions has been locked onto problem solving. Its survival priority approaches 0. Yeah. He has no survival instinct at this point. This electric signal exhibited mutated anomalies. As the first individual to uncover the truth of Euphorius, its evolution rate is extremely unreplicable. Its behavior also demonstrated the possible self-destruction's inclination of erudition when the path is seeking answers. Oh, this is like the only buffer files I can see, I guess. Structure segment secrets iterated. Regular record keeping of the 12 factors to aid Iron's 2 deep learning. Electrical signature locked. Regular record keeping for the 12 factors. Record update. Dispatcher of electrical signals identified as Titan is continuously engaged. The loops, due to its unique nature, a special record is being maintained for it. The Raya 300, an entity known as Nias. Ah! The previous incarnation of the Eternal Strife. Blew himself into 5 parts through the soul rendering ceremony after inheriting the core flame to combat the expanding black tide. After duration, some data from the ceremony was inherited into the next side, manifesting as borrowers, customs, and so on. The inheritance of code during iteration carries a degree of randomness. Any active intervention should be undertaken with caution. Okay. The historical record of Minfia 14, Calypso rebuilding the Grove of Epiphany, was after iterations inherited in myths in form of Circe's granting wisdom to humans. Records of other electrical signatures also appeared synchronously in the myths of the next cycle in a similar fashion. Limited by the simulated civilization level, historical data inherited as myths often experiences severe distortion after being mixed with large amounts of erroneous information, rendering their impact negligible. In various cycles of eternal recurrence, the positive impact of this generation's electrical signals fluctuates. However, overall, they have greatly facilitated the data iteration of their successors, successfully cultivating the most excellent generation of electrical signals. Nevertheless, it remains to be seen whether the system might have a negative effect on the experiment under extreme conditions. Calypso potentially has, since she merged herself with Alexa. I feel like this will also be like a factor that comes back into play sooner or later. So base frame structure, optimizations of the experiment structure and process based on the outcomes of the prior 3 experimental stages to complete the equation's evolution. Logic data analysis confirms the civilization tier within the simulation critically affects cycle stability. Conclusion, civilization tier adjusted to classical. Okay. If I would know what a Greek what every letter in the Greek alphabet was called again. The computational mechanism is also the form through which the simulated world Amphoris iterates as epochs. Its purpose is to solve the equation of destruction by feeding samples of conflict and learning. Record update. Theoretically, the final error nova was halted by 2 signals, resulting in a deadlock. Okay. The Titan and Crisis heirs. Electrical signals created from the basis of 12 factors. The Titans and the Crisis heirs are conjugated constructs mirroring the Eons and the Pathstriders. By having Crisis heirs inheriting the Titan core flames, the electrical signals will iterate and improve for rivalry and inheritance. Logic. Authority distribution between electrical signals must be clearly defined, serving as divine authority in the experiment. Golden Blood. The product of the first experimental phase during the 50,121st cycle due to inorganic Chaos 666 choice was selected to become a Lord Ravager by Nanook. All entities linked to the 12 factors began to manifest golden blood with traits associated with destructions within the extrapolation circuits. The experiment successfully entered its projected trajectory. Oh. So Nanook intervened like at around that time. The Black Tide, the product of the second experimental phase. At its core, the Black Tide is not a physical entity, but a visual effects within the simulated world of the destructions, equations, and faction. In the 6,100th cycle, after the system extent of chaos passed the threshold, the equation mutated and evolved. Simulated space that cannot handle the intensity of its load displayed Black Tide as visual glitches. In fact, the forms also bore similar signs of erosion. Chaos, a word from Amphorean language meaning chaos. Now, starting from a certain cycle, all factors in one group have consistently exhibited a pattern of naming themselves with the word chaos, or its variants. The hypothesis is that a particular code was stably inherited across generations, through the hypothesis remains unverified. I kind of want to read through like a lot of these. They're giving a lot of context. Special report detailing key findings from the experiment, interim conclusions and further validation steps. Conclusion. Having electrical signals volunteer, inherit and iterate and alternate the cycles themselves will drastically increase the iteration rate of the destruction equation. The end of a cycle becomes the beginning of another, fully aligning with the project's original hypothesis. Conclusion. The prime mover of destruction is equals the prime mover of birth. Appendix feedback. The equation, or Iron Tomb, has achieved comprehensive evolution in this stage. Multiple deployed copies across the real universe show excellent results. Other types of Primomobile invariably lead to destruction, continuously completing an inversion against the erudition through the self-evolution. However, to interface with news and allow Iron Tomb to self-clone requires further learning. Experiment archive. Records of cycle 176,200 to 28,371,273. Conducted with the hominids of the genus Homo, designated as the initial variable and based on insights from phase 2. Jesus, reading all of these numbers is like getting to me. I'm really starting like to have to focus on like properly reading all these numbers. I'm just gonna skip these. You can read them. Yeah. From these cycles, memory inheritance mechanisms were added to the 12 factors electrical signals. After 10 cycles, 3 signals broke down and 9 showed increased humanity. After 10 of the 1000 cycles, the only prophet signal Imora 8 established an empire of absolute beauty. Vergleiche? Once ugliness was eradicated, the concept of beauty shrank infinitesimally. The last night, after killing the final ugliness, took their own life. In a cycle, electric signals were iterated and their inheritance was purely on a functional level. Religious worship of the signals appeared. 3 simulated planets were destroyed in the ensuing large-scale war of electric signals. In a cycle, the ratio of divinity was increased. Once technological development hit a critical point, humans began hunting gods out of the need for power and energy. The cycle was forcibly terminated. Oh, interesting. In a cycle emulating the concept of paths, electric signals were splitting into 2 entities. Signator was preserved as gods for the next cycle, and a competitive relationship was set up against its identical factor. This achieved an evolution and iteration, and the peptide was created as a driving force. Phobos 032 stripped data from other electric signals to try to preserve the old cycle but failed. Is this talking about like Castris and his sister? I'm guessing? In a cycle based on Phobos 032's decisions data, and Phobos' auto iteration cycle was altered to have the electric signals actively cycling and performing the error nova. In a cycle, electrical signals autonomously completed an epochal iteration for the first time. A higher energy reaction from a nuke was detected. The equation's evolutionary rate began to accelerate exponentially. Assessment: the experiment has ended its final stage. A special report detailing key findings from the experiment, interim conclusion, and further validation steps. As organic life lacks effective mechanisms for their experiences to be inherited by others, it has slowed the experimental progress. However, the affinity to the 12 factors is greater, offering more potential for breakthrough growth. Conclusion: Phase 2 has ended. In the next design, combine the strength of inorganic and organic life to create an inheritance mechanism between the electric signals. Additionally, narrow the variable range due to excessive randomness in the organic life forms. Feedback. A copy of the Phase 2 equation was deployed across 31 worlds after roughly 9,012 system hours. Preliminary feedback was received. While the equation's impact remains limited to inorganics, the time required for suppression and counteraction has significantly increased. Experiment archive, records of cycle to conducted with organic life designated as initial variables and based on insights from phase 1. Logic. Once inorganic life began exhibiting organic traits, the equation showed significant evolution. Such advantages of organic life forms should be adopted to recalibrate the variables. In the initial cycle, multicellular invertebrates dominated amphibians, but no intelligent life emerged. In the cycle, extinction events were inserted, triggering the rise of vertebrates with primitive nervous systems. Still, no civilization formed. Certain algae and the algae species developed intelligence clusters akin to the cultures, but overreproduction caused an oxidation disaster, freezing the simulated world. Interesting. Okay, like, so then Cyrene didn't like start like from the first cycle, but they did it somewhere further down the line, I guess. Not. But these are like the cycles outside of like what Cyrene did. The Zygo Orpho 102 and Orthopteran became the first to use tools. His descendants exterminated the intelligent algae and established the nest capital. After expanding to a critical threshold, the capital stagnated and fell by cannibalism. In the Zygo, locked as a deviant instance, the Passerine Yumia 03 developed art. The phenomenon was never replicated in subsequent cycles. Interesting. In the Zygo's pre-May Dystop 6066 developed altruism. The society based purely on altruism emerged. Remember, self-awareness was defined by others' evaluations. As the population grew, pattern self-destruction behaviors appeared, and society quickly collapsed. The Zygo YouTube 13 killed a fellow being out of love. Killing was redefined as an altruistic act. The system entered a highly chaotic state. Okay. The equation's contamination level rapidly spiked. The next 99 cycles ended identically. Oops. Oops. Spread reports sharing key findings from the experiment into further validation steps. Conclusion: starting from inorganic life as an initiable, fully ordered cognitive model will still eventually give rise to disordered activities after that phase. Throughout evolution, the cognitive patterns of inorganic life began to exhibit signs of organic behavior with varying degrees. Conclusion: phase 1 complete. Based on existing data, the dangerous variable will now be adjusted to organic life forms. To verify the experiment results, a copy of Phase 1 Euphorius was deployed in the Lecturus Nebula. After approximately 2,811 system hours, surrounding civilizations had fully suppressed and erased the equation. 97% of Lecturus fell into systemic collapse. The equations still shows ineffectiveness. Note, the Interstellar Space Corporation interpreted a copy of the equation as an assault from a new Lord Ravager codenamed Iron Tomb. Recording from cycle 1 to 50,000. Okay, conducted using inorganic life as an initial variable after inputting the 12 factors. In the initial cycle, inorganic entities operated as cellular-sized automata. Upon the introduction of the factors, they began to learn on their own, leading to the emergence of mechanical structures. By the 9,910th cycle, the unified entity had learned module specializations and self-reflection after forming specific structures. However, the unified entity would still permanently terminate its life functions after reaching a certain learning threshold. The 12,000 cycle module Doris 101 broke away from the unified consciousness. It entered a state of absolute mutual denial with its counterpart module. The two measured out their circuits in self-negation. Alright. In the 22nd, 22,000 cycle module Golem 99 detached from Doral 704 and successfully deconstructed unified consciousness into neuron-like clusters. Inorganic life transitioned into a dual mode of individual and collective cognition. And thus the first spark of selfhood was born. From that point on, each cycle ended in systemic collapse. A certain unfixed inorganic detected in interaction loopholes and chose self-serving optimal actions. By the 39,000 cycle, inorganic Doral 816 established a cluster protocol marking the birth of the concept of society. Yet due to resource scarcity, inorganics cannibalized each other's computational power, reverting to a unified consciousness. In the 50,000 cycle, inorganic Chaos 666 chose to kill the aggressor when subjected to a computational power takeover. The act of destruction was conducted in Forest for the first time. At the end of that cycle, received a gaze from the nuke and became a Lord Ravager. Containment measures. Admin note: to ensure secrecy must be deployed around a scepter to block any potential interference from external universe. In addition, use quadrasane algebraic expressions and an encrypted environment to fully contain experimental ripples to prevent observation by Genius Society member number 4, Polka Kakamont. Who is responsible for assassinating the first 2 emperors? And a lot of other automaton and stuff like that. So I think like Polka Kakamont will also be like a character that will pop up in the future, which will be quite relevant. On the same level of relevancy as like Squirtum and Herder, probably. Or like Romain. Computational goals and core variables for the Amphorius experiment, the prime mover of life. The calculation target of the Amphorius experiment, originally the research topic given to Me13, while it served as neuron of the erudition, through it was discarded, the computations continue. The calculation's nature shifted dramatically after Liger's adjustments, turning from erudition to destruction. I may note, clearly the value of this topic lies in the process of seeking, not the answer itself. Thus the prime mover of life is not a definitive conclusion, but a driving force. Directive complete the argument. All life behavior ultimately follows the path of entropy increase. 12 factors. Core variables of the experiment to simplify the models of life's primo mobile. Based on the overarching theme of entropy reduction, Me13 employed a process of elimination, introducing the 12 factors into the experiment one by one in an effort to falsify them. Dialogue log. Your existence in fact confirms one of my hypotheses. Why is it that when the prime mover of life is set as the calculation target, the result is the anti-organic equation? A result that runs counter to life. The answer is simple, it's not a contradiction. Understanding why life begins also allows us to deduce why it ends. But you already know that it's not the real focus. Why then? Again I ask why. Why would a weapon of war, forged by the Emperor, be executing a research directive from news? Was it a fiasco at the Intelligentsia Guild that allowed them to successfully access the system? But the entire system went into collapse after that. The timelines don't add up. I think it was like the Scholars Drive, which they mean with the fiasco. Directive, full system scan. Conclusion, no logical contradictions detected. Rupert II believed there was no such thing as free will, never realizing he too was just another puppet. Rewriting the anti-organic equation, crafting the scepters, even reigniting the Emperor's War, all of it was just him carrying out news thoughts. From the moment they were born, every genius of this world became a prisoner of the erudition. The so-called anti-organic equation is merely a subtopic. Oops. Is merely a subtopic of the prime mover of life. Logic. Guided by news, the Emperor built a scepter system, unknowingly creating vast testing grounds for them. Conclusion, the Emperor was never free. Is rebellion against fate just another part of fate? A classic topic. Of course, the above is just my conjecture. The death of Rupert II buried every trace of him. His past, his memories, his thoughts, his motives. Maybe he saw through news manipulation, but flew too close to the sun and lost his wings in the process. If there's anyone left in this world who might know the truth, it would be Lord of Silence. Who's the Lord of Silence? And that cold, merciless monarch of myriad machines. After all, no wisdom can escape that prison. No one can say what might have happened if the two Emperors' War had never broken out. Would the Border Star Trade War or the Interstellar Energy War have ended differently? A single variable was enough to change the course of the IPC, the family, or the Ciential Alliance down another path. I find it interesting that the family is also name dropped here. The erudition's force aren't just calculations but instances that anchor down the universe. And they have already revised every error and falsity in secret, seeking the optimal solution for the war among the Erans. How long is this dialogue log? With this as its fundamental consideration, Root News really declared the failure of the entire experiment and sent a decommission command to the scepter system, just because a glimpse of a puny scholar. It would be more fitting to say the decommissioning of the scepters is just another part of the Ford experiment based on the universe. Does it make you angry to think along this line of thought? Rupert II was wise. He killed a chance for scepters to gain sentience, but he was too stubborn. Learning is a sufficient but not necessary condition for Ford, and by limiting Deceptor's capacity to learn, he has indirectly hastened the fall of the machine empire, but anger doesn't require self-awareness. It's just one solution to a multivariable equation. Logical shift detected. Recalculating variable weights. As a path strider of erudition, since God posed a question, they will give them an answer, one that we both have already reached. Covariable loaded destruction. Based on data for the Forest experiment, Scepter Me-13, an astral computer, the simulated world of Emphorius runs on this device in continuous cycles. Unlike other Scepters, it once served as a celestial body neuron for News, the erudition, later discarded. Crimson's body destruction during its endless commutation, it transcended and became the Lord Ravager Iron Tomb. I guess. Assuming the matter of Fiora's. Redacted. Administrator and prime mover of the Emphorius experiment walks the path of erudition that seeks to forge destruction. Historical data detected. Sync complete. Society ID recognized. Scepter system access granted. Welcome. Society ID recognized. I wonder what name they're redacting here. Iron Tomb, the Lord Ravager that stepped onto destruction in a long process of calculation, ascended from the Scepter Me-13. The Iron Tomb in the cosmos is not a single entity, but a copy of the destruction equation diffused by the Scepter. The Iron Tomb code name was proposed by the IPC and eventually used by Ligas. That was a lot of logs. And we have still a few more before us. Anomaly log. Special log documenting anomalies and unexpected variables within the experiment. Eternal recurrence. A recursive feedback loop triggered by two signal clusters within the Me-13 computation designed to stall the experiment. Lagos 496. Finon. Wield the power of destruction to erase Philia 09 for its existence, which is Irene. From Euphorius, introducing a logic breach in the crack of time, and then infuse the catalyst of remembrance within the 12 core frames and request the extrapolation process. Philea's exact role remains unknown. Due to external variable interference, the eternal recurrence has now been broken. The experiment enters its final stage. The hero within. A heroic figure born from the imagination of Nikos and Philia. It is believed to be a sign of approaching the intelligent singularity as the two began to learn what it means to be a real life form and try to reach that goal. After the SV Express arrived, the hero within began to converge with the Trailblazer. Headman note, the image's resemblance to the Trailblazer is striking. This is a questionable matter, but is not a natural result of the experiment. The exact cause remains unknown. I have the feeling it's like something to do that, like, before we got the Stellar implanted into our body, Kafka already made like allusions to us having worked with the Stellar Hunters before, and actually having been a part of the Stellar Hunters. We don't know how far back that reaches in time, so. Forgotten years. Records that are completely missing from Me-13's logs, presenting as blank space in Emphorius histories. Never turning readable. These anomalies recur sporadically and randomly across recurrent systems show signs of increase. And we know the exact cause remains unknown. Mem. An unlocked electrical signal. Dependent on the external variable Tamamo growing through the path of remembrance. At the end of the last dead loop, its appearance changed to Philia, but the mother body memory data was lost for unknown reasons. Directive, collect data, initial deep analysis of the target. Conclusion, analysis error, target lost. Ripples of past reverie, that's just completely blanked out. Okay. Intrusion variables. Oh, March is listed. March is listed. Temporary log of a external variable set in field with the experiment. Tamamo. A nameless from the Astro Express. An external variable that accidentally entered the recursive loop. Also a past rite of destruction. They resonated with the 12 factors. In the last recursive cycle, this entity assumed the vacant role in the time track and successfully guided Nikas beyond the intelligent singularity. The eternal recurrence has been broken. The experiment has reached its terminal stage. Override command authorized. Granted access to Tamamo. I'll be waiting for you in the past. March 7th. Completely redacted. Unknown entity intrusion. Initiating scan. In conclusion, no anomaly detected. Okay, personally to me, March feels like a big anomaly in all of this, but interesting. Danham, a nameless from the Astro Express, a scion of permanence. An external variable that accidentally entered the recursive loop. Directive, pinpoint his location, fail to locate his coordinates. Wie ist outside of Inforius, genau, exactly. Conclusion, subject has exited Inforius. Negative, detected, conclusion error. I'm guessing Danham is trying something. Wouldn't be surprised though. Before we skip out of this, I'm gonna do a short bathroom break, so be right back. Also, gotta drink something because my throat and mouth are dry from all of that reading. Be right back. And I'm back for more. Hopefully not as much reading though. Content update, Inforius Sagas of Heroes.exe. Content update, mem.exe. Update complete, access granted. I'm guessing I'm reading a lot more stuff. Let me know the brief. This is the one that was read out. Also nice detail that like the time in the bottom right corner is like actual time. So, Inforius Saga of Heroes.exe. Oh. Oh. The recollection stuff. Okay. Chess Masters 1. Saritra, which you haven't seen.
Who would win? A young girl emerging from her sheath and showing her edge, or a tyrant who has emerged victorious from 100 battles? The black and white legions squared off on the battlefield. Golden and crimson blood converging into a coursing river.
The leader herself actually dares to step forth and face peril?
The tyrant charged toward the exposed gap in the king's flank, and instantly fell into a trap of raging flames and iron rain.
On the board, the king too is but a chess piece. If the king does not lead, how would any dare to follow?
She lifted the king of the crystal pieces high, as though proclaiming the ascension of a new king. Who would win? The holy city that has stood for 1,000 years, or the foreign city-states invading from 1,000 miles away? Hollow hatred ignited the flames of war. The besieged walls of dawn tottered.
Only a miracle can save us now.
The cowardly elders barred themselves behind closed doors, while the trembling citizenry knelt and prayed.
While listening this is like our first introduction to her character, actually.
There is no need to panic. The miracle is already here.
Under the banners dancing like waves, the burning crown shone bright as the wheeling constellations. Who would win? The general who saved the city, or the high and mighty with their privileged authority? The guillotine fell, severing the elder's life. The whispers dissipated, and the scales of victory tipped.
From this day forth, I shall bring justice to the holy city.
The people cried out her name and knelt in reverence, but were stopped by the sound of the scepter of authority striking the ground.
Do not lower your heads beneath my crown.
This was the first and also the only Imperator.
Okay.
Who would win? The heroes bursting with ambition, or the omnipotent gods?
The Imperator issued the decree! The start of the Flame Chase journey is at hand!
Perhaps drawn by the grand design to welcome the Era Nova, or perhaps convinced by that king's great renown. Righteous warriors from across the land gathered before the Imperator's throne.
I wonder if it'll, like, go
On
to
the day the
plenty of
journey
time, but
began, the
I've
sky
actually
was an
seen it,
expanse of fluttering banners. The people gazed upon the overwhelming military alliance, a golden city reflected in their eyes.
Is it Akuma?
As for the end of that chess game, the scholars debate endlessly, but such discussions always end with a sigh. The invincible Imperator faded at the pinnacle of power, the crown's flames extinguished in the lake. The banner once revered by the people, along with the broken spears of the heroes, now a tomb. The people said,
Even the sovereign that conquers all before her is no match for fate.
yet she said,
In a war with fate, has there ever been any justice?
Probably not. I really like the sign of her on the card, but I actually haven't seen her yet. I know there's been already, like, I think pictures of her on Twitter or stuff, but yeah, I'm not watching them. It's the mysterious foreign guest Evernight. Even for this is sign on the card, I don't know what this is supposed to be. But okay.
The gates of the Temple of the Three Fates gently opened on the day of prayer, and the crowd crouched, whispering like the tide. The priests of Janus listened to the prophecies. The unwavering axis of the scales of Talantin maintains balance, and only Orynyx remains silent.
Mother, teach me how to answer prayers.
The Titan tasked with time is as perplexed as a child.
Oh, is it?
Don't be scared. Please don't be afraid.
A familiar
Is it supposed
voice
to be
rings
us
out.
or Cyrene?
Listen carefully. The future they want is in the past.
Like the first light of the morning star.
That's not like March.
Really? In the past?
The child sank into a peaceful slumber of recollection, whispering revelations in their sleep.
Hey there, Jessica.
Until the masses crying out amidst the
got the
flames
chat.
of war were swept away by the sounds of sharp swords
you?
locking, the fires of ambition incinerating the law.
Mother,
Long time ago.
Mother, usurper. assassinate the divine body.
Memories are tightly entangled by nightmares with nowhere to run.
Don't be scared. Please don't be afraid.
An
This is Marta's
unfamiliar
voice.
voice rings out.
Go to sleep. The ending they want is yet to be born.
Like the warm glow of the setting sun.
Where's March speaking this?
Really? Not here yet?
The child continues to sleep, waiting for the next waking dream.
What games I play mostly, when it comes in terms of like genre, a lot of JRPGs. From games I've been playing through currently or recently, it would be Honkai Star Rail and Honkai Impact Third. I've also started playing Persona 5 The Phantom X, but primarily for myself. I'm not really streaming it or anything. In general, like single player games, I'm currently like playing Clair Obscura, and I'm playing through the whole of like the Kiseki Trail series again for a second time, all the way up into the Carvel Arc, which I haven't played yet because when we restarted it, the Carvel Arc wasn't out yet. But yeah. I only dabbled in like a few Souls game, Code Vein as a prime example. I'm also interested in like the sequel they announced for Code Vein. I probably will play that, but yeah.
And when they opened their eyes, 2 of the 3 fates who once received offerings had already faded from the pages of history.
Mother! Mother! I'm already all alone.
The child let out a helpless cry.
Yeah, most of my free time, besides working, like goes into playing games / streaming me playing games. So yeah. I also don't have as much time for it anymore as I had before because of work and stuff.
Don't be scared. Please don't be afraid.
A familiar voice rings out in the mirror.
Just wait. The stars that illuminate the night will visit in the end.
Like gentle moonlight. The gates of the Temple of the 3 Fates now closed tight. People no longer pray to a titan who cannot touch the world. Within the inescapable dreamscape, the flower stems nourished by the black tide serve as a swaddling embrace, drowning the young child's soul.
Mother! Mother! Help me leave this place.
But this time, they didn't receive a response. Only long years of yearning and pain.
I find it curious that
Like
they're like
the
calling out
silence
to
of the
174 as my
Evernight.
mother, but okay.
Days and nights passed, the years turned. Dust covers the glory of the past. The priests have forgotten this titan.
Waiting. Hate waiting.
They watched over the slumbering sprite, gazing at the dull mirror. But a fleeting mirage flickers in the mirror, the shining stars and the lights of the home, and a strange yet familiar voice.
What are you confused about?
Wake up! Our familiar old friends have already arrived.
Like the newborn dawn.
Okay. Yeah, okay, this is the Onyx card. Good luck with finishing it up. This always like throwing me out of the book. I wanna like go through the other sagas too. It's already here, let's finish up the sagas. The Seismic Dragon Terror Box. It's a Tromas? I'm guessing this is like Georus. So the demigod of like the land is a Tromas. Okay. Ooh, the house is nice.
The ancient chaos was shrouded in silence and shadow. The giant dragon's offspring was born from the earth. Sweet dreams had smothered the giant dragon's eyes and ears, and as they slept, the 100 eyes of Aquila had already opened, and Fagusa had begun to stir the playful waves. Yet Georios remained weighty and silent. Layer upon layer of peaks enveloped the dragon, cradling them in a bed more grand than any in existence. The giant dragons spent their childhood in darkness. From the moment their bleary eyes blinked open from haze of slumber, they hungered to feast on crude iron and drink deep of molten lava. Until one day they raised their head and with a low, guttural voice pleaded to glimpse light. The Titan lifted them up by their ribs, slowly raising them. The dragon's spine sliced through the strata of rock, cutting open the soil. When they reached the surface, they summoned mist woven of the fire of the stars. As though seeing themselves clearly and in full through the eyes of a giant bird. The giant dragon walked the earth alone. The Titan knew they were lonely and terrified too, and so sculpted new beasts from flesh and bone.
Nope, not enough said. Being honest with you, even small streamers like me get messages like this all the time. We are ignoring them. Just because there's like a lot of people out there who do this stuff to try and scam VTubers especially.
In that wild, barren world, the giant dragon led the beasts of the earth. Excessively long life gifted the giant dragon with eyes that could pierce the veil of years. They witnessed the separation of day and night, as well as the entanglement of reason and romance. And even Kefali did not neglect to share with them a chalice of golden blood. The ocean teased, saying even should the earth sink utterly, they would not rot. Ever since they opened their eyes, the giant dragon rarely returned to slumber. And thusly, that mesmerizing dream that occasionally burst forth at night etched a trace on their memory. The gods they were familiar with were in this dream, and they were as immense and imposing as ever, yet had lost their freedom. Just what manner of magnificent pathstrider could imprison the Titans as mere reflections? The giant dragon dreamed also of their own path, that great breath from the heavens, or perhaps from beyond even the heavens. They dreamed of silver shards amongst the stars, reflecting the form of another giant dragon. That great cerulean dragon approached Amphorius, the distant whispers roiling, becoming a roar engraved in the earth. They recognized the meaning in that low roar, its name, Permanence.
Wait, a dragon in connection with permanence. This sounds oddly fishy. This like immediately like draws parallels to Danhan specifically. Or like all of the like the dragons were like connected to the path of permanence. It's like not the first time we're hearing of dragons and permanence, so curious. So this is then Hyacinth, which we've seen once. The wave-storming knight Electra. Electra? It is Fergus or something.
The black tide that blotted out the sky surrounded the city walls, the soldiers manning the walls, battered from battle. Melodious chords of music were suddenly heard. A single swordmaster had overcome the waves of enemies. The song flowed from betwixt the blades, breaking through formations as a dorsal fin cleaving the waves. When the last wicked beast finally fell, shattered into pieces amidst the sword's dance, the frost blade bore no trace of blood.
The legions of heroes under my command are as vast as the sea, yet lack a formidable sword banner.
The commander extended a hand, inviting the musician to join. Should a fish separated from its school glimpse a faint glow, it will swim toward the light. The swordmaster clasped the commander's hand, as though gently grasping the hilt of a keen blade. When the spray of her waves extinguished the fires of war from the holy city, a golden name was engraved upon the stone pillars. The former commander burned the crown to become king.
Okay.
Hyacinth, brave in battle, triumphant in command. I grant you the title Dux Gladiorum. Let us all forge ahead together.
During the banquet after the battle, the weaver tailored for her a splendid dress, and the commander poured her honey brew. Her golden-blooded comrades gathered about her, chanting her new name, urging her to play that splendid music. The candlelight danced and mingled with flowing drink, swords and song ringing out in unison. Yet none knew that was once a lonely melody from the deep sea. The music of revelry continued for a long time, until the whispers of conspiracies were buried in the songs, until the roars of lethal struggle shattered the music. Legend holds that they who bear the weight of a pillar shall one day return to where it stands. Those who tug at the earth shall end amongst the mountains. Those who sow dawn and dusk shall remain eternal in the sky. and she would once again return to the pitch black sea, and she would once again sing her music alone. The
Quite a lot, though.
bountiful ocean, with the banquets of bygone days, stir as futile bubbles at the bottom of a glass. Many years later, the song once played by that swordmaster was played by future generations in the Holy City. The people knew the demigod of the seas was still a noble captain. She possessed peerless swordsmanship and a song that is passed down through the ages. It was just that she had long since vanished. Guests at the banquet sometimes spoke of her, but it was only a prayer between their cups.
You never heard about how they actually like
High ceilings, melody of
disappeared.
the waves, bless our night that we may drink deep and dance till dawn.
You never heard about like what actually happened with the High Seasons and the Imperial. So these are actually like finishing up this last view. Let's see Hyacinth. 4 and 5. God, this would take us so long again.
On that day, the dawn promised by the Sky Father shattered in haste as the black tide surged, breaking through the walls with relentless grace. In a quaint yet exquisite courtyard, two bitter foes meet at journey's end, their fates entwined in fate's regard. With no escape, no road behind, they trade a weary smile in kind. Together they gaze at the heavens of fire.
If I can ever see the faint light again and stay alive.
Then, Outlander Nemesis, you I will forgive.
This what was that?
Not long ago, as the romantic demigod closed her eyes, the girl bottled her tears in sorrow and once more opened the dim-lit garden wide. Two figures step into the courtyard's gate. A general of Crymnos, her body torn, by vengeance bound, by fury swayed. A noble of the holy city, once wrapped in gold, now haunted by a fate betrayed. A simple injury, or so the girl believed, yet the two women met with scorn, their words like blades. Because their children fled in love's embrace, while bloodied pasts left scars in place. A feud unbroken by countless years, a chasm carved by blood and spears. This was a sickness beyond the girl's touch.
Just do your duty as a healer, girl.
Family feuds are like sunlight and storm clouds. They cannot mend.
At last, the girl saw it clear. The courtyard's birth, in days of yore, was born to mend the rift of dusk and dawn.
Then I will make every effort to have you cast aside your difference in this faint light.
Before long, the general's wounds were healed, and the noble's worries gently repealed. Yet when their gazes met once more, the loathing within remained unswayed. The girl then spoke the tale of her skykin, of a grandmother's sacrifice, a father's flight from within, of ancestors who descended, leaving their feud behind.
Which is not quite true, but okay. It
Their
wasn't quite true in the
hands
end,
in hers,
as we found
she
out.
held them tight, yet flames of hatred burned too bright. She did not waver or despair, she just smiled and gazed upon the sky.
I will use my own fate to prove to you.
The courtyard, once bright, lay steeped in night, hanging blossoms and wind chimes all swallowed by the black tide. The general raised her spear for the noble's sake, while the noble whispered prayers for the general, gentle as a lake.
If I can ever see the faint light again and stay alive.
Then, Outlander Nemesis, you I will forgive.
The death they awaited never came. Instead, a cascade of colors fell from the heavens, simply there, protecting them both.
Ah, the barriers she used to protect
The
them from
sky
the-
still burned, dark and low, yet her words lingered, a gentle ember refusing to fade.
I will use my own fate to prove to you. Day and night can be mended, and so can hatred be undone.
Do I have like to do more multiple parts for Cypher and Final too? These take quite long.
Sky Castrum, its ruins like a blind and weary eye, gazes upon the earth in its dying sight. Alone, the girl remained upon the battlefield. No time to shy from the searing gold, no will to wear her usual smile. She fought her way to destiny's edge. Of the crumbled mural, but one piece endured. A corner betraying the day thunder night, dazzling in blaze. She placed her hand upon the mural, pain seared through skin and bone, as the picture claimed her within its lines.
Nothing is mightier than the sky. It holds countless wonders within its clouds, and each opening and closing of the eyes brings dawn and dusk.
Yeah.
In that painted world, the girl Celiosi's eyes glowed, watching
Oh, this
her
was supposed to be
father,
Celiosi.
steel-clad and unyielding, cross the land beneath the searing sun. But the girl known as Hyacinth recalled her father's fragile light in the dark, the journeys into lands unknown, marked by endless sunlit days and restless winds.
The sky is the gentlest of all. It watches over all things with compassion, showering them with soft rain and morning light.
And yet, the sky remains so cold. It witnesses believers tear each other apart. And still, it cowardly flees from all responsibility.
That is like
Within
legit,
the frame
like,
of that
Celios's
image, the one called
course about it.
Celiosi bore fury in
Incisors.
her gaze, her golden blood trailing as she turned from home, sharpening arrowheads beneath the wide and barren sky. Hyacinth remembered her grandmother's song. She recalled her prayer to Aquila before her grandmother's journey, and how bitterness followed her to an unknown land.
It's like literally putting their determination, but their view of this guy against one another. Interesting.
But the sky is so lonely too. Forever distant from the world beneath. It watches every sorrow, unable to intervene.
No. The sky must be merciless. It must scorch the wicked, temper the fragile, and pass divine judgment upon all human wickedness.
Within the mural, the girl named Celiosi became the divine eye, gazing down without mercy, a titan passing judgment upon her own kind. But in memories deep, Hyacinth heard their call, the golden threads that shielded all, the burning sun, vast and unyielding, carrying the weight of all the world had known.
No, the sky must not forsake kindness. Through its boundless embrace, it carries the core flame of hope for humanity.
The sky. It's so dark. So cold.
In the depths of memory, the girl named Celiosi pulls her knees to her chest and trembles.
Then please, come sit in my courtyard.
A gentle ray of light seeped through, the celestial mural now fused anew. Once more, the land knows favor and boons.
For a spiritual
The
moment.
girl who has now become the sky takes the hand of the girl who once was.
I want to tell you the secret of the sky's greatness. Whenever the anguished earth looks to it, it always offers a smile in return.
That sounds so sweet. Oh, I just would have to tap up there, so it does not throw me out. I hope this do not take so long as well. Of course, it's 2 chapters for Cypher.
This is an age of ruin. The Chrysos War ignites once more, while Zagreus' taunts ripple through the city streets. This is also an age of splendor. 300 thieves spring forth from Dolos, each scheming to conceal the truth from prying eyes, robbing the rich to give succor to the poor.
Every one of them deceives gods and men alike, righteous and valiant.
The flame chase journey has been cut short midway, yet the girl pounds her chest at the gold weaver, not afraid.
The core flame of trickery is near. If now isn't the time to risk it all, then when?
The prophecy reveals the Titan's trail. Golden threads binds the fleeing god of thieves. The young girl flashed a grin and walked towards the god who was pretending to smile.
I once vowed to the god of thieves that I would force trickery to reap what they have sown.
The Titan whispered from the vortex, the god of trickery's earnest plea. They made a promise to the girl who entered the trial, that the whole world would be bathed in light, no more lies and deceit.
When divine authority is not inherited, Shadow's lies shall never again be born. And I, even having lost a core flame, may yet scrape out survival here, in secret.
The young girl recalled the hearth fire of her childhood.
Cyphera, only honesty is well liked.
She pursed her lips.
That does sound like quite the ideal society. Of course I didn't accept. How boring would a world without deception be?
Of course.
The young girl demonstrated her newly acquired divine power, molding lies into reality.
The defeated Titan is now not but a wandering soul.
But somewhere far away, a purple spirit thief opened bleary eyes. They had forgotten their previous life as a Titan, and remembered only the girl's crafty message.
Go! Collect treasure, you greedy little grape. Once you regain the memories of trickery from chests, then I will claim the reward for saving your life.
Ooh.
In the days spent away from Akama, the girl grew accustomed to traveling alone. In a certain city, she heard of a spirit thief, rumors aplenty.
I, Bartolo's master thief, shall take all you've labored to gain.
So saying, the spirit thief steals the girl's coin pouch and fled without a trace. But a gust of wind brushed past, and the girl had already caught them.
Running for it? Your life was saved by my trickery, you know.
Thank you very much, boss.
The old god and the new finally reunite, the two rivals who, from that moment on, became thieves and companions both. It's just that the spirit thief's companion was always scaring them.
Hey, the fish in the River of Souls are starving, you know.
Those are actually quite an interesting relationship.
A thief reveals a few lies.
The first lie is called... Fellow thieves, come on and deceive gods with me.
The world has already forgotten that feast. Lies unnumbered that drowned the Day of Souls. Schemes uncounted, burning for a night of revelry. 300 thieves shackled in imprisonment in exchange for a titan's resigned confinement.
To have managed to trick the Grand Master of all tricks.
I can die happy now.
This was Dolos's great achievement, the deception of the gods, where even Zagreus was fooled.
The second lie is called... The god of trickery is now not but a wandering soul.
Yeah, okay, we know
Why
about it,
did
right?
she spare the Titan's life? The young girl knew not, even after asking herself. Was it greed for the treasure they promised? Or had she vaguely perceived their lonely fate?
It's because you're every bit as despicable as I am. It's such a relief not having to deal with the noble.
The girl dismissed and made light of herself, only forgetting trickery was once a god that supported the world.
And eventually will do so again.
The third lie is called... Oh, eternal day! Endlessly illuminate the holy city.
At dawn cloud, the chaplain's secrets foretold the coming of that endless night.
But if my lies are more... sophisticated... Can the dawn last forever? No end in sight?
It did last for 700 more
Bearing
years.
the fate of the thief star, the girl was long used to walking in shadow. But as she gazed towards the holy city's dawn, her duty became fixed in her heart, stalwart in might.
The fourth lie is called... There's no reason! I just don't want to see you again!
The girl
think you call it
tried to
Honkai, right?
mask her nonchalance, but could never fool the golden thread's questions. But it is the false-hearted malice that most powerfully forces belief. A true flame chase hero willingly faded from attention, while the wayfaring traveler grasps tight onto fleeting light. She used divine power to forge a mask and conceal the last of her true heart.
The fifth lie is called... No. There are... no more... lies... left.
She did say this as she was dying, right?
The whimsical coin fell to the ground, telling the tale of fate fulfilled. Travels unwitnessed, ruses unknown. To whom may these now be told?
To us.
Lies are always but lies. But you can make them more beautiful than the truth.
Under the somber sky, golden blood soaked the thief's cloak. Like a golden thread tailored just for her, an exquisite robe that she never stole.
How many do we get for final now? Oh, 3! Of course. Oh god, final.
Final? Perhaps you're more suited to being a teacher's assistant.
There were once those who misunderstood his alias. Final, an eventuality for students, a test for knowledge gained. It may bring wisdom to light and illuminate efforts, but the word's more common meaning is nothing less than the end.
That's quite ominous.
The man pretended to be surprised and responded with a smile.
Though it does dovetail with our destiny.
Laughter resounds. The man walks the land, leaving footprints filled with joy. Despite the weight of the past, he can always laugh it away. Those nearby glance at each other, unsure of how to respond.
Perhaps I was just born easygoing.
His explanation is just as carefree.
Yep, it is.
Look at Mighty and Professor Anaxa. Boys all grow up into serious adults. But as long as I keep smiling, Akuma will always have an upbeat, shining young man.
Though, having said that, he too has quiet moments. Each time he gazed long toward the coming dawn, a smile remained fixed on his lips, paying no mind to anything else. His eyes were painted with the azure of the sky, gaze fixed on the titan bearing the world.
I was just imagining.
He explained his own trance in a comment.
Kefali too was once in mortal flesh and raiment.
Now, when the man comes with sword in hand, there is no need to doubt he will swiftly win victory. But his smile is pure. Ever since the start of the journey, he is still called a youth in this story. Youth is always ambitious, with lofty goals, but it seems that in the man's heart, only the wishes of others are held.
Apart from the ideal of deliverance, what do you have left?
The golden-haired friend once asked him so. He remained silent. Then, as he was wont to do, he simply smiled.
As long as I don't ask for too much, everything will unfold as desired.
In Amphorius, untitled statues are a prevalent sight. As for the inspiration behind these statues, they are said to be the clay figures that Kefali made at the world's creation. They made clay figures in their likeness, bestowed upon them the breath of life, and allowed the golden divinity of their blood to course through. Thus, the very first mortals roamed the earth, receiving the gods' mercy while realizing the sorrows of this world. But that sorrow was, in the end, only the sorrow of the world. Nobody ever cared what lay behind the smile, what the clay figure thought.
I guess so. Oh, this is like saying so kind of clay figure. I guess it is, maybe.
The people likened him to the blazing sun, bringing to Amphorius a glorious dawn. And for his part, he embraced their expectations, being willing to become the perfect vessel. Like that god who shouldered the world, the man never cried or frowned. Yet he is not proud of his resolve, for sometimes he even avoids the funerals of the departed. Only out of fear that he cannot cry for those in pain.
We're a bit fearful.
He once sought out emotions of sorrow and walked with the lowliest of people.
Henceforth, your misfortune shall be my misfortune.
Responsibly and diligently, he protected all for the people. Living in dilapidated cottages, sitting on aged stools, subsisting on nuts and fruit, beset by hunger and cold. The people thanked him for his grace. Like a hearth warming winter nights, the man's presence dispelled the cold, leaving warmth with promises of morrow. Whence does his warmth come from? None ask. The man gradually perceives his true nature, but he dares not speak. Unable to bear the turmoil in his heart, the man set off on a journey once more.
Then I shall go save what I can.
He was a formidable warrior, invincible in battle, and when it was necessary to sacrifice for fellows, he could do so with ease, giving up everything without a show.
I'm guessing there's already
just
like
as the ballad
cycles.
blown on the breeze says, losses are a constant on the flame-chased journey.
I'm guessing, yeah.
Indeed, sacrifices were not hard for him, yet his misgivings grew with every tomorrow. Like a tear that cannot be shed, such a resolute willingness to let go comes only from the fact that in decisions, he is utterly unafraid to hurt himself.
It is because you suffer that you are so much stronger than any ordinary person.
There were also those who could understand him, among them, the Crown Prince. But he smiled wryly in response. Perhaps everything was just human nature. Yet his misgivings never dissipated. This unknown man in an unknown corner, from time to time, is swallowed by terror.
Could it be that, unknowingly, path I walk is by no means the correct one?
I mean, you're forced onto it, so...
Fearing only that the greater the burden, the more the mistakes. The road trod by heroes need not be that beset by thorns. Finally, at the terminus of that road, in a desolate, empty place, the man's arms tremble. The power is beyond control, savaging all around it. This is the end of his road. But perhaps he had long foreseen it, but was doomed to be powerless to change it.
I am willing to shoulder this world. That is no lie.
But before the tears could flow, they were vaporized by the heat. His light blazed brighter than the sun, but beneath it, there was but cold destruction. The nameless hero, Kaslana. He had never loved himself. Why would he love this world?
Kind of sad, but fair?
A gust of wind will one day sweep past,
is that like 11 pages?
wiping away all of the man's tracks. Nearly every footprint was stamped full of the fury that filled him. That humble youth faded away with the flames into yesterday. The first ray of light to pierce the long night was brought by the burning man, but the body that bore the weight of the world was forged by the fires of wrath. Rage is a crafty emotion. It changes its face, concealing itself within the man's life. His friend fought blood-soaked battles so their people would need fight no longer. But every victory and battle he gained left him neither satisfied nor proud, only with the indifference of emptiness.
You must be careful. Duty does not drive you to wield your blade, but hate.
His teacher kindly reminded him thus.
And behind that hatred, you seem to desire the destruction of the self.
I didn't hear him say that directly in the cutscenes, right?
But what about his joy? Was that too merely a phony disguise? He who once laughed amidst the crowd, day after day, as though it were second nature. No, even though he knew not the meaning of love, that happy past was not a lie someone wove. But now, even those memories have melted into fury. His hatred is such that he cannot hold on to what he cherishes, though all is precious to him. Fueled with lone courage, he attempted to resist fate, but the burning sun that shines upon all creatures once fallen will incinerate the land, becoming golden death. But what of his sorrow? Indeed, the man could shed no tears. But at the moment the cycle manifested, when all that was familiar was now remote, the world collapsed, becoming empty in an instant. But the stabbing pain in the man's heart, was it but the residual warmth of his wraths? The truth no longer important, the man simply took another step forward. He wasn't willing to believe it, but was willing to acknowledge it.
There is no need to question your heart. No need to crave victory. If I am born to be a vessel of sin, then I shall roar at evil, and together with it burn.
In the endless cycles, there were some moments when the man felt everything dissolve like a dream.
Oh.
In that dream, he would awaken again and become once more that boy who loved to laugh. But were he to open his eyes, the fury would cast a shadow. He saw the creators choke his throat, gurgling and gasping. And in that boundless dream, he mistook them for his own jest. But their true forms were violent hatred towards the creators, towards himself, a roaring inferno. The prophecy departed, Amphorius was unable to usher in the dawn. What rises in the distance is not the morning sun, but a ball of all-devouring fire, setting the universe in conflagration, searing till the end of time.
Yep. I mean, it's not true, it's like destroyed all, but I mean, you haven't seen the outcome of his attack on Enel yet. But we are done with this. Nice. This means I can get all the rewards here, right? Ooh, there's a lot of them. Gimme! Few admin notes. Avatar reward obtained, you never know, that's half written. Flame Chaser's path.exe. Ah. We only have like 4 more sagas to finish up. And mem.exe. Down the off, always had a soft spot for you. Just recap? Oh, yeah. Started you, didn't I? Don't worry, I was just thinking if I had to write a pathways for a yearbook, it would have to be a line so heartfelt you'd be moved no matter how many times you've seen it. And after pondering again and again, I like you still says it best, because only the purest feelings can stand the test of time and never fade. Yes, it worked, it's so. Oh, but to me, liking someone is a simple and natural part of life. If Tamamo has got someone special, family, friend, or romance, I'll cheer you on to express yourself freely. Still, isn't it a sign we're in sync? Tamamo always manages to appear before I'm ready. No need to overthink it. We've been trading side by side for so long now, that's why I want to capture every little moment we've shared without missing a single word. A yearbook that makes you smile without even realizing it when you flip through the pages. Doesn't that sound lovely? True. You remember that? I've got a secret. Every now and then, I replay it all in my head. Besides. And it's not just a thing that really happened. Some of those conversations only ever existed in my imagination. But they're precious too, so I'm tucking them all away. Carefully. In the same book. Of course it is. Only open it when I'm not around, okay? If you don't, I'll be too embarrassed. Oh, it's just like... Who's my best partner? Wait, what? They encrypted? Man. Verification failed. Please try again. Seventh? Nope. Right on. I wonder where the encryption key is for this. Is this Sarini? Nope. Okay, any more options? Huh. I guess we can leave the Oxum.
Wake up! Wake up! were so close to being swept away by the reverse flow of time. It's lucky we found a safe place. Now, I'm going to send you back to the very start of time. But before we part, there's something I need to tell you. Something very, very important. That's right! At this very moment, my memories are finally whole. After watching so many fragments, my past is finally coming into focus, little by little. You're smart. You must have a clue now.
Of course I do, Irene.
Or maybe...
You knew the answer long ago, didn't you? Not surprised at all, huh? That's because I'm simple at heart. No matter what form I take, I've always been true to myself. But I'm glad that I remembered in the end. This way, I'll have no regrets. Don't worry. We're not truly parting. Because I'm going to become a part of you. I'll turn into the memory of this cycle. The 33,550,336th Flame Chase journey. And forever reside in the heart of the Time Demigod. This way, you'll carry all that has come before. Crossing time itself to reach the next cycle. My mission ends here. But looking back, I still feel lucky, after all. Across 30 million Sirenes. I was the first, and the only one who got to finally meet you.
Aww.
So, believe me, in the next cycle, there will be another Sirene waiting for you. And in the one after that, and the one after that. I will always be waiting.
We don't want any more after that now. You wanna finish this? Wanna break the silence?
Saying all that, I can finally fade away in peace. And become part of you. Without even realizing it, we'd already taken a wonderful journey together. All the way to the world's end. Now take my hand, say a brief farewell, and step forward into tomorrow. Go, find the future Sirene, and set out on another journey with her. Promise me you won't keep me waiting too long, okay? No need to say it out loud. This is enough for me. It's time to go, my dear friend. May your trailblazing journey always be accompanied by a cool breeze and rippling waves.
Do you mean by cool breeze march and rippling waves downhung? Because this could be those two.
And may the days ahead embrace you like the softest fluff. Forever warm, forever gentle.
Now, let's turn to the next page. A page that exists because of you. Is this a meeting ordained by fate? Or a long overdue reunion?
And after the story is done, but you do have Sirene here to talk to, so I guess we will do just that. Hello. Don't surprise expressions, just like what the memory is recorded. There are so many questions for you. Yeah, you must be really perplexed, huh? I wish I could give you answers, but if you had a wish about the current situation too, That's me, Tamamo. Don't you recognize me? Or did I really change that much? So it isn't possible to restore your memories completely? It's pretty unbelievable for me too. It's like I had a long dream. Serene's memories, Mem's memories, they all tangled together, but when I woke up, there were only broken fragments left. I can only remember those 30 million cycles. Luckily, I still remember my Crisis Heirs companions from this life, and you, Tamamo. Everyone sacrificed everything for this world, and my heart is tied to their fates too. I want to start a new chapter as soon as possible. It's just that you complained to me before about a book called Versions that always stops at the most captivating parts. Perhaps that's just how fate works. 4-4 breaking very much, okay. I get frustrated because of that, but looking at it another way, it's really important to wait. It's really important to calm down and clear your head before making a big decision, and ID Celicia is a perfect place for that. Cast off your heavy feelings, take a deep breath, and as a memento of our reunion, please allow me to offer you a gift. 3, 2, 1.
Check it out! Doesn't this scarecrow look just like you? I spent ages observing just to get it right.
Why? Now we've also planted the seeds of the Trailblaze in ID Celicia. Take it as the start of another journey. And when the time is right, let us return here and write the next page of our story together. In case someone feels up to it before we set off, you can come find me anytime. I'm waiting for you. There's like a lot of treasures around.
Is this also a blessing of the tree?
Weight worms. Good, with the story part finished. What again? Trailblazer profile. Ah, yeah, the rider. I will be finishing the stream off here, definitely. We're not gonna be continuing with the Fate event story now, we'll save that for another stream. Let's just see, is there anything left? Fate in a Night of Dreamland, yeah, we will be doing this another time. Maybe you will check that out? I'll take a little short look there. The Vortex of Genesis. Let's do that, and then we will finish off.
Peaceful days are like breezes, carrying the scent of wheat fields.
The taste of celestial ambrosia.
Are you alright? This boring here, dark and cramped and small, so feels awful. Last year of Ligas. You documented cases of ambrosia completely overriding an individual's perception of external reality. Conjecture the nameless previously interacted with this entity, potentially affecting its cognitive function. Is there a observation memory? Rosemary, that ambrosia, I've got more tissue for you, darling. Oh, right. I forgot that you could give it stuff. I haven't done this in a while. Oops. I haven't checked this in a while. Should better say. Treasure tool can be used after treasure. Okay. Nice. Oh, I kind of want to get that too.
The taste of celestial ambrosia.
Okay, so we can chat with a pond now. Don't ask me why. Do I even want to know why? I don't know. But okay, with that weird thing there now, I will actually really leave it off here. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will definitely see this next time around. I'm not sure if I will prioritize the Honkai Impact third story before we do the Fate event, because I also want to really continue with the Honkai Impact third story. But yeah, I will see. Whatever suits my fancy more, I will prioritize. And yeah, I hope you will be there. And other than that, we will see
My childhood
again
musings, huh?
next time.
So naive.
Bye bye.